There is no race on Earth like the Isle of Man TT. No barriers between the riders and the world around them. No gravel traps, no runoff. Just ancient stone walls, lampposts, garden hedges, and bikes, doing nearly 200 miles per hour through villages where people actually live. Since 1911, over 280 people have lost their lives on this 37.73-mile stretch of public road. And yet every single year, the best road racers in the world come back. Because this isn't just a race, it's a calling, a religion, something you cannot explain unless you've felt it. Today, we're going into the moments that defined this place. The crashes that broke records, the ones that broke bones, and the ones that broke hearts. These are the deadliest crashes ever seen at the TT. Ballagarey, the corner that kills. If you asked every TT rider to name the one place on the course they genuinely fear most, a lot of them would say the same name, Ballagarey. They call it Ballagarey. And when you understand what's happening there at race speed, you'll know why. In 2010, everything went wrong there. Twice, in the same place. Within 24 hours. Paul Dobbs, June 9, 2010. Paul Dobbs was 39 years old, a New Zealander, not a factory rider, not a big budget team, just a privateer who absolutely loved road racing. He'd been coming to the Isle of Man since 1999, 11 years of racing on this course, knew every inch of it, had a best finish of 6th back in 2000, and he kept coming back, year after year, because this place got into your blood and never let go. On June 9, 2010, during the second Supersport race, Paul Dobbs entered Ballagarey Corner. He didn't come out the other side. He left behind a wife and 2 children. The paddock was devastated. The Autocycle Union's Jim Parker said he was a great competitor who made many friends in the racing community. One of the most popular guys in the pits. Gone at Ballagarey, the corner you were never supposed to get wrong. But the horror at Ballagarey wasn't finished, not even close. Guy Martin. One day later. Same corner, Senior TT. Guy Martin, the people's champion, the lorry mechanic from Lincolnshire, the man who the TT crowd absolutely adored, was running second. He'd just come out of the pits after refueling. His Honda CBR 1000RR had a brimmed tank full of fuel, and as he went over the crest at Ballagarey, the front tucked, and that was it. His bike hit the stone wall. The full fuel tank exploded on impact. His Honda erupted in flames, and it triggered the first red flag at the Senior TT in over a century of racing. 100 years of the event, and it had never happened before. That's what Ballagarey is capable of. And somehow Guy Martin was conscious, talking, airlifted to hospital with a punctured lung and minor fractures in his vertebrae. Didn't even know his eyebrows were singed until he saw the pictures. 1 corner, 2 crashes, 1 fatality, 1 near miracle. That is Ballagarey. That is the TT. Conor Cummins, the Mountain. Cummins, the local hero from Ramsey, a man who had grown up riding these roads, who knew every bump and crest of this course from childhood, was absolutely flying, dicing for the lead, flat out, up on the mountain at a section called the Veranda, where the road's narrow, the drops get steep and serious, and there is nowhere to go if things go sideways. And then the TV helicopter captured what happened next. He didn't just crash, he went off the edge of the mountain. The bike and the man tumbled down the slope together, end over end, with absolutely nothing to stop them. It was one of those moments where you watch it back and genuinely cannot believe the person survived. The list of injuries read like a war casualty report. Back fracture, broken arm rebuilt with 2 plates and 16 screws, dislocated knee, extensive ligament damage, bruised lungs, an 11-hour operation to stabilize his spine metal rods that stayed in for 2.5 years. He was 24 years old, and he came back and raced the TT the following year. That is the type of person this event produces. Completely, utterly, built different. Steve Mercer, when the race turns on its own. The TT doesn't just endanger the riders on the track. In 2018, it turned on one of its own in the most unexpected way possible. Steve Mercer was an experienced TT racer. On May 30th, during that year's event, he was among 7 riders who had been stopped on the course after a red flag, a fatal accident involving Dan Neen, had brought racing to a halt. Marshals had instructed all 7 riders to return to the TT grandstand area by traveling in reverse, going against the normal direction of the course. Then a course car came the other way, traveling at high speed, racing to attend the scene of Dan Neen's fatality. The 2 met head-on. Mercer was unconscious for 5 days, 5 months in hospital, multiple serious injuries. Not caused by a racing incident, not a mechanical failure, not a moment of bravado on a corner caused by the organization around the race failing in one critical moment. It became one of the most controversial incidents in the TT's modern history. The ACU accepted liability, but Steve Mercer lost 5 months of his life and came close to losing far more, and no amount of liability acceptance gives that back. 2022, the deadliest year in half a century. The TT takes its toll every year. That's just the reality of what this race is, but some years are heavier than others, and 2022 hit different. 6 competitors died during the 2022 Isle of Man TT, making it, tied with 1970, the single deadliest year in the event's entire history. 6 riders lined up, went racing, and didn't make it home. The sport will always make the same point when the numbers get stark, like that these were consenting adults. They knew the risks. They chose to be there, and that's true. Every single one of those 6 riders had made that choice with their eyes open. But 6 names on a memorial in a single year still makes you stop, still makes you sit with the weight of what this race actually costs, and wonder whether the cost is too high, and then watch a lap of the mountain course and understand exactly why they went anyway. The Dunlops, a family and a race. There is no family more synonymous with the Isle of Man TT than the Dunlops, and there is no family that better represents everything this race is: the glory, the obsession, and the grief. Joey Dunlop, the greatest TT rider who ever lived, 26 wins on this course, a man who transcended motorsport and became something close to a national hero across Ireland and beyond, killed in a crash at a race in Estonia in July 2000. His brother Robert kept racing, won at the TT, was killed at the Northwest 200 in 2008. Robert's son William, a brilliant talent, 5 TT podiums, a racer who looked like he had a long future ahead of him, sat out the 2018 Isle of Man TT to stay with his pregnant partner. He was being careful, putting family first. Then he went to the Skerries 100 road races in Ireland a few weeks later, just to get some racing in. During practice, at a fast section of the course called Sam's Tunnel, he was 32 years old. And Michael Dunlop, William's brother, Robert's son, Joey's nephew, keeps coming back. Race after race, win after win, 18 TT victories and still counting, racing on the very roads that took his uncle, his father, his brother. 2026, when the crash came for the crowd. The TT has always framed its danger as something that belongs to the riders, consenting adults, eyes wide open. That framing has always been the sport's answer to its critics. But in 2026, the crash came for the crowd. During an untimed practice session in the opening days of the event, a rider lost control at the exit of Parliament Square in Ramsey. It's one of the most popular viewing spots on the entire course. Fans pack in there specifically to get close, to feel the speed, to see the bikes fly past at arm's length. The bike left the course, hit the crowd barriers, and drove those barriers straight back into the people standing behind them. 9 people taken to hospital. The rider and 8 spectators. A retired nurse who had been watching and rushed over to help describe the scene. We've seen people crash their bikes or come off, but I've never seen anybody go into a group of spectators like that. There were 3 casualties on the ground as I went over. These 3 seemed to be the worst. It was a major incident. I've never seen such a bad accident like that before. Every time I closed my eyes and tried to sleep that night, I just kept seeing it again. So why? That's the question that never really goes away, is it? Why does Conor Cummins, a man who had metal rods hammered into his spine at age 24, sign up to do it again the following year? Why does Michael Dunlop go back, year after year, to the same roads that killed 3 members of his family? Guy Martin answered it from a hospital bed with a punctured lung and singed eyebrows, which might be the most Guy Martin sentence ever written. He said, "The TT is dangerous. Of course it is, but that's the reason I do it. I don't like routines. I like to be challenged, and nothing beats the buzz of going round there. And as long as this course exists, they will come back. They always will." Since 1911, the Isle of Man TT has recorded over 280 deaths on the mountain course. Each one was a racer who loved what they did. Each one was somebody's son, father, partner, friend. The names are there on the memorial. Joey Dunlop, Robert Dunlop, William Dunlop, Paul Dobbs, David Jeffries, Dan Neen, and hundreds more, going all the way back to Victor Surridge in 1911, the very first. The Isle of Man TT is not like anything else in sport. It is a test of human courage on a scale nothing else comes close to. And the crashes, brutal and heartbreaking as they are part of that story. They are the price this place charges for the privilege of being the fastest on the most dangerous road in the world. We remember those who paid it, and we watch in absolute awe at those who came back. If you want more moments like this, the TT, MotoGP, the crashes and comebacks that define what motorsport really is, subscribe and hit the bell. I'll see you in the next one.